Hey, what's up, Otaku Mike here. Let's talk about The Punisher issue number 1. Frank's back yet again, and warning, there will be spoilers. So our story starts out actually with Frank Castle walking the streets of New York City. He is feeling at home at this point, walking around the filth and the broken streets of New York City. He actually happens to get stopped by this punk who pulls a gun on him and is like, hey, I showed you mine, now you show me yours. What do you got? He shoots at Frank and tries to scare him, and Frank's like, okay, I'll show you what I got. And he lifts up his trench coat to see an arsenal of things under his trench coat. The man runs away, and Frank goes to go after him, but this pain, this sharp pain in his head causes Frank to fall over and actually pass out. You end up seeing somebody actually watching a news report talking about the chaos and bloodshed that happened a few days ago with the shipment full of fentanyl getting burned up and all the cops getting killed, the attack at the tunnel with the 18-wheeler, and even the apprehension of Tombstone at this point. And we see them talking about this person who apparently is going on a killing spree with a big white skull emblazoned on their chest. We actually end up going over to Rikers prison where we see Tombstone serving out his sentence. He actually gets a visitor at 2 o'clock in the morning. He goes to the visitation room and he sees his attorney there to talk to him, obviously. And he sits down and he's like, who the F are you? I've known my attorney for 3 decades, and you are not my attorney. The man starts laughing. He's like, oh, you don't know who I am, do you? You don't remember me. I've been gone for quite some time. And he starts peeling the face off his skin and the skin off of his hands. And we find out that this man is actually Jigsaw, and Jigsaw is here to take back what is his, which is New York City. And how is he going to do that? He's going to get Tombstone to sign some papers to actually relinquish all of his businesses that he owns to Jigsaw. And if Tombstone does not sign these papers, Jigsaw is going to carve up his family just like he's going to carve up New York City. Transition over from Jigsaw and Tombstone's conversation to an armed robbery. We see a masked clown man actually trying to rob a convenience store. He gets all this money, and before he's able to walk out the door, he gets popped in the back of the head by the Punisher. The Punisher picks up the sack of money, gives it back to the clerk, and the clerk's like, oh my god, please don't kill me. You can have whatever you want. Punisher picks up a candy bar and asks, how much is this candy bar? And the clerk is like, it's free. Punisher gets back in his battle wagon to continue his night of punishment, where he drives off and he gets that same pain in the back of his head, and he has like a seizure, it passes out and wrecks his battle wagon. So somehow Frank ends up being able to make it back to his safe house after this accident. We end up finding out that he is currently holding his former friend and partner Microchip prisoner after the events of Punisher Red Band, where we found out that Microchip was partially responsible for turning Frank into the Kingpin's personal hitman. At this moment, Microchip is very scared that Frank is going to kill him. He's like, oh my god, Frank, no, I didn't mean to do it. They forced me to do it. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I saved your life. Frank hands him the candy bar he got from the convenience store and says, here you go. You're going to help me fix my brain. So we end up moving away from Frank and Microchip to Jigsaw sitting in a room with this wall covered with pictures with threads connecting all these individuals to each picture. And he's like, you know what? I used to think of the small picture. There are all these gangs and families fighting over these neighborhoods. They're thinking of the small picture like I used to think. Now, I'm thinking of a bigger picture. I'm connecting everything. And one thing is standing in my way. The Punisher. The Punisher is standing in my way to becoming the new Kingpin of New York. Alright, so let's take a look at the internal artwork for this issue. But before we get into that, what's going on with Frank's face on this cover? It looks like he's either trying to hold on to a fart or like probably he's like very, very constipated, it looks like. I don't know what's going on with that face. But here is your creative team right here. Give them all the love and respect that they deserve. And I just have to say, the inker, the penciler, the colorist hit this book out of the park. It is a very well done issue. It very much has that gritty feel to it, unlike like the Red Band did have a gritty feel to it, but this has like a dirty, gritty, lived in city feel. And I am all here for it. I love seeing Frank back in the classic black and white with the classic Punisher outfit on. It's very nostalgic and it still works in today's society, I feel like. And, I feel like that's something that we were missing from the Punisher was, Frank back. And I feel like he's definitely back to basics almost, I feel like. But, like, it's just a very well laid out book and it's just very well done. Like I love this scene where we see like just this montage of Frank cleaning his gun, but like what he actually did like with that gun. Like it was pretty gnarly. Now there isn't a lot of action in this first issue, but we do get little snippets of it here and there. It is, we get some pretty gnarly action in this when we actually get to it. But yeah, super awesome. I loved this whole artwork for it. It's top So, notch. What did I think of The Punisher issue number one? This is a fun first read. Now, I will state that this is actually a continuation from the Punisher Red Band miniseries. This book actually picks up after the events of that series. Now, do you have to read that series to enjoy this book? No. This book very much is new reader friendly. It gets you up to speed and tells you everything you need to know in sort of like Cliff Notes to get you caught up to speed and enjoy this series. Now, I do recommend checking out the Punisher Red Band miniseries because it's actually a pretty good, fun read, but this is actually a really good jumping off point. I really liked how they showed the two different sides of Jigsaw and the Punisher, where we saw them trying to build themselves up, as the Punisher, as the vigilante, and Jigsaw as trying to be like the new kingpin of New York. I'm very curious how that is going to play out in the long run with this particular story. I'm very interested to see how Frank's newfound disability he has of having the seizures in his brain because of the thing that Kingpin did to him in the Red Band series. I'm curious to see how that is going to affect him as a crime fighter. I find that to be probably one of the most fascinating things in this. Will we keep it as like a crutch or, something that he has to fight against while he's actually dealing out this punishment? That adds a real interesting wrinkle to the character of the Punisher. Now, I will say one little nitpick I have with this particular book, a lot like with the Red Band miniseries, we don't get a lot of monologue from the Punisher in this book. We get a lot of monologue from the other characters in this book. I would like to see moving forward the Punisher talk a little bit more. He doesn't say a lot in this book. I need a little bit more character from the Punisher. He is very like stoic and a silent vigilante in this book. I need a little bit more like one-liner from him, a little bit, just saying. But this is actually a very good, gritty adaptation of the Punisher. The creative team definitely have the right tone and voice for this book. I have to say it's definitely worth your time if you're looking to get into a Punisher book. But I would love to hear your thoughts down below. I'm Otaku Mike. Peace out. Stay safe. I'll go read some comic books.